Last summer, my colleagues and I did research into some of the top middle school band programs in the US, and we've implemented a lot of the techniques we've learned into our own program this year. In this video, I'm excited to share some of those techniques with you. My name is Peter Thompson. I'm a middle school band director, and this is the Amplified Warmups YouTube channel. There's so many new techniques that we're using this year that I want to break this into 3 different videos. In this video, I want to talk about some overall approaches and systems that we're using and are really making a difference in our middle school band program. To set the context, our middle school band program is grades 6 through 8. We serve about 370 students in their 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years of band. I work with each one of those levels, but my primary focus is 8th grade. So with that in mind, the first new thing that's working well for us this year is writing out our expectations in detail, getting really precise about what we want to see. And we've done this in 3 main areas: band room procedures, concert etiquette, and instrument care. First of all, we've moved away from a really short set of band room rules to a fully detailed list. I used to think I don't want to create an environment where there are just a whole bunch of rules, and so I would only give students a few rules. What I realized is that I actually have a lot of expectations in mind because after teaching at the same school for 15 years, I have some ideas about what works well and what doesn't. Furthermore, we have a lot of great students who want to do things the right way, and they will if they just know what those are. So we have to teach them those ways. So I added a 2-page list of band room procedures to our student handbook. If you would like to view our handbook, you can find that at our program's website, amsbands.org, and feel free to borrow as much as you like from that. That 2-page list of proper band room procedures covers what to do before arrival, how we exit the band room, and everything in between. I tried to get all of our expectations in writing so that I was clear in what I was asking of students and they can know what works well when they're in the band environment. One procedure that doesn't need a lot of explanation is our daily rehearsal warm-up, which is called Amplified Warmups. This system makes it super easy to get in the flow of a good band rehearsal, and it gives students a system to consistently develop their skills, not just for the individual, but for the ensemble as well. And using these warm-ups every rehearsal, especially when students can build on the previous levels from year to year, it really produces that consistent individual and collective growth. But the thing that makes Amplified Warm-Ups really unique is how it goes about solving the challenge of getting rehearsals started on time with consistent quality, especially when I consider all the things that can pull me away from the podium at the beginning of rehearsal, whether it's replacing lost music, fixing an instrument, writing a pass, taking attendance, getting something that I have forgotten. With my warm-ups, all I have to do is press play on an audio track, and that starts a 1-minute countdown, letting students know that rehearsal is about to start. And at the end of the countdown, the audio track guides the band through each line of the warm-up. And with that, the first 5 minutes of rehearsal are covered, whether I can be up in front or not. It takes away all the stress of getting rehearsal started and gets us off to a consistently good start every time. If you would like to try it out with your band, just go to amplifiedwarmups.com/sample and you can download a free set of PDFs and an audio track. And try it at your next rehearsal, and if it works, you can explore which level of warm-ups is right for your band. There's one for each of the first 4 years of band, and each level comes with 2 progressive warm-ups, one for the first part of the year and one for the second part, so your band always has the right level of challenge. And again, you can learn more about that at amplifiedwarmups.com. Continuing on with creating more detailed expectations for our middle school band students, concert etiquette was something that we wanted to improve this year. So we borrowed a list from Denton ISD in Texas, a list of concert rules for performers and audience members alike. And what we did was add them to our handbook. We reviewed them with the students before the performance, and we even created a video to show to our audiences before the concerts. So it's just a simple PowerPoint presentation with students recording the voiceover. I'll let you hear just a moment of that.
Applaud at the appropriate times. The conductor will put their arms down at the conclusion of the piece to signal it is time to applaud.
Since the video doesn't include any visuals of current students, it should be usable for years to come. And so far, implementing all these steps has led to a better performance environment for our students, for audience members, and certainly saved us a lot of headache as the directors. Another step we took in communicating detailed expectations was creating an instrument care sheet for every instrument in the band. And I felt this was an important step to start the year with for 3 reasons. One, it would place an equal responsibility on every student. Regardless of talent, every student can take good care of their instrument. 2, it established an attention to detail that I hoped would carry over into our musical tasks. And 3, taking time to talk about proper care should help us avoid the lost time and cost of avoidable repairs. So each instrument care sheet lists needed supplies, daily procedures, weekly and monthly care. We included details like how to carry your instrument, where to set it down safely, how to do it. You should set your instrument down gently enough so that we're not hearing it. It should be silent. Instruments that probably shouldn't ever be set down, like saxophone or French horn. If you need to go somewhere, just carry it with you, or if you need to set it down, just go ahead and put it back in its case. Now, we won't fully know the long-term effects of better instrument care for a while, like how much money we're saving, but we've definitely observed a higher standard of instrument care this year. And if you'd like to take a look at those instrument care sheets, you can also find those at amsbands.org. Moving on, we've also picked up on some systems of teaching and learning that we are implementing in our middle school band program this year. One of those is breaking down music learning processes, and this is something we've taken from Darcy Vogt-Williams as well as Chris Griffa, and we've adapted it for different uses. But first, we're using a 5-step music learning process. So step 1 is to count it, so just focusing on the rhythm. Step 2 is to taw it, which keeps the rhythm but adds the articulation. Step 3 is just for note names, saying the note names, and sometimes we'll slow this down or take this out of rhythm, but just focusing on the pitch names. Step 4 is adding the fingerings, and step 5 is to play it. We use this process when teaching new music, and we also encourage our students to use it when they're practicing. It's not complicated, it just helps them break down the steps of learning new music. I've also used this approach to generate a major scale learning process and break that process down, break them into 4-note scale patterns and then putting the patterns together. I use a slight variation when we're working with the chromatic scale. It's all about just creating very manageable steps for students so they're not overwhelmed with everything all at once. Another new teaching technique that's working well is lots and lots of metronome, almost all the time. And this is another one of those Texas methods. But this year, I have a metronome going for probably 80 to 90% of the portion of rehearsal where we're playing. And I do that in lessons and rehearsals. And I'm encouraging my students to do the same in their own practice. I mean, why not? You just use the metronome all the time. Not only does it help students with the rhythmic foundation, but it also provides concrete performance standards, like I want you to prepare this line of your lesson book up to 120 beats per minute. I want you to play your scales at 8th notes at 88 beats per minute. Just makes it really clear what they're aiming for. And it really helps to keep lessons and rehearsals moving quickly. There's just something about the metronome that keeps things on track and moving at a fast pace together. The final thing that I want to talk about in this video, something else that's working for our middle school bands, is being extra picky. Because when you start to observe really good young bands, it really starts to make you think, why can't my band play like that? And often, if I'm honest with myself, the answer is because I haven't asked them to. So my colleagues and I are trying to really raise our standards for what we expect in almost every part of the band. And when something isn't right, we do it again, and we keep doing it until students either get it or they have a really clear understanding of what we're aiming for and what they need to work toward. The trade-off for being picky is that we've slowed down the pace of our sequencing in the beginning of the year. We started the year slower in terms of, for example, like how many pages we're checking off in our lesson books, but we are seeing better embouchures, we're hearing better sounds, and just hearing a higher level of precision in our students' performance. Overall, the theme has been, let's go slower at the beginning, let's take slower tempos, let's take as many repetitions as we need, as long as it takes to get it right and to get the right foundation and the right approach, and then when we've got that in place, then we can start to move faster. So I think we're going to continue to be picky while really still trying to keep band fun, hopefully. And that's just the start of new things we've been doing this year in our program. I have a couple more videos coming soon that will cover some other approaches to building better intonation, as well as some new rehearsal methods that I'm using and finding success with this year. So in the meantime, if you've gotten something from this video, please engage in some way, whether it's to click the thumbs up or subscribe, leave a comment, share it with somebody else. All those things will help these videos reach other band directors. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you soon.